From 13 on, financially, I was on my own. In 2007, 2008, my parents lost everything. I was alone, sleeping in a basement every day because I couldn't afford my apartment. My roommate was calling me like, hey dude, rent's due, where are you at? I wanted absolute autonomy and ownership over my financial situation. How do I even look at achieving this? Reading a few books really kind of changed my trajectory. It just started to take some of the limits off. We're currently working on a mentorship program to teach others how to invest in real estate and how to build wealth and financial freedom in their own lives.
Jason Roberts' story begins in Long Island, New York, where his parents instilled in him a strong work ethic that would prepare him for success.
I grew up in what felt like a big family. I have a twin brother. I have two older sisters. It was just this fun family environment where we had a lot of people around and we could connect with everybody. My family kind of came from nothing. My dad didn't graduate high school. My mom did, but they kind of, through just a lot of hard work, built this construction business, and they were building one new home at a time. And my dad, was always on site. I remember we were walking on, rafters, floor rafters as toddlers. I remember these toy cars for Cub Scouts, for those little box races. And it was just always fun kind of seeing these new projects come to life as we grew older. Growing up, my dad was always finding ways to challenge us, to instill in us that there was nothing to be intimidated by. Always taught us to make eye contact constantly. He was always this measuring stick to push through in terms of challenges, and you weren't done until you beat it. I grew up in a home that didn't have a lot of formal education, and reading a few books really kind of changed my trajectory, one of them being The Magic of Thinking Big. And it's just a framework that's stuck with me for the rest of my life. Even going into college, or what was I dreaming about trying to do? What does this career path look like? And it just started to take some of the limits off, and it made me realize that it's just as hard to do something small as it is to do something big. And so why not get the reward for doing something that's meaningful, that lasts, that's worthwhile, and that's going to make an impact. Growing up in sports, you've got a team, you get people that depend on you, and the goal is always to win. It's to be the best, the absolute best at whatever it is that you're doing. And that just always required putting in 110%, no matter what. You leave everything that you have on that field, regardless of the outcome. Whether it turns out the way that you want it to or not, you're learning how to actually put in the work that's required to win. I think the things that I'm most proud of with sports was just how I fought through some of those things, or how I broke the mold and started recruiting people to help teach us. Like, we knew that in order to be the absolute best, you need to have the best coaches. And so I recruited my own Olympic coaches, SEC championship coaches, and got around the best people in the industry. It was just this environment where you could learn from people that were doing this at an excellent level, learn what motivates people, learn how to challenge people, learn how to break down and analyze things that were going to make you better. And I think that's really what I took away from a lot of sports in general. I wasn't really what I would consider good enough to be on a Division I college program. I was ranked 5th in the nation at one point in high school, but I broke my knee my senior year. And the only way I was going to make it to college was if I started marketing my way into college. I met the coach from Stanford, and he was taking a new position over at Cincinnati, and he was like, hey, you should come, look at this. And I just had kind of worked my way into a position of, here's specific practice tape, here is, the coaching, here's what I've done, even though, it's not shown on paper. And, those are the things that I think carry over into the day-to-day life. Like when you reach that no, how are you finding a way to get the yes? I didn't have a lot of traditional jobs growing up. I was in school or I was in sports full time, but we did have kind of odd jobs on some construction sites along the way. We had this massive project with just hundreds of cinder blocks all over this foundation, and it was just toss the cinder blocks into a dumpster, clear the job site and get it ready. And it was Florida, it's 100 degrees, and I thought I was in good shape at the time, but hard work is hard work. And I remember, I think I was just taking a break at one point. I was eating lunch or something, and my dad just drove by the job site and didn't stop the car, didn't get out of the car, just rolled down the window and saw that I was eating or relaxing or whatever it was. And I don't remember what the conversation was, but I know it ended with, you're not done till the job is done. Like, you're not paid hourly. You come home when it's done. And so I kind of realized real quick that everything is based on the job getting done. Nothing is an hourly job. Nothing is just coast by. It's get it done quick, get it done right, push hard. And I'm not going home. I'm not having dinner. I'm not hanging out until this is done. So I might as well get back to it.
Jason soon attended the University of Cincinnati and transformed what once was an affinity for toy cars into something much bigger.
I wanted to own this automotive company. That was the dream for me. So I went to college to learn how to be an engineer so I could understand cars, so I could design vehicles, design race cars. Formula SAE was an amazing program in college. This is like a senior design project that you get to design from the ground up and build with your own hands like a race car in total. And we're talking frame and engine and everything. And so it's a massive undertaking. I was working 80 hours a week for the entirety of 2 years while balancing an engineering degree. I pushed everybody around me way too hard, including myself. I was alone, sleeping in a basement every day because I couldn't afford my apartment. I remember one morning, I don't know, I guess I must have slept in, the academic advisors giving tours to students about the program. And so we get probably 30 individuals that walk down these steps, parents with their kids, and it's going to be great to come to college. And I hear them come down, and I just kind of peek out from this welding check, and I'm looking at 30 people staring at me, including my academic advisor. And I was like, okay, kind of brush yourself off and get back to work. And it's funny because it's not just that you're struggling, it's that you're struggling and it's bare for the world to see. That's fine. That drives me. It's not where you are right now. It's where you want to be that matters. And that was just another example of you're seeing me where I am right now, watch me in 10 years. My academic advisor actually recommended to student board that I get this kind of in-house scholarship that they had off of that. And that helped get me through my last few semesters at college because she just walked in on something like that. When you're just authentic in those situations, you just never know what's going to happen. I got out of college and took my first engineering job in Georgia, and that was great. I was designing performance parts for Mustangs. I was dating a girl who was from Colorado, and we broke up. I got fired from my job, and we found out we were pregnant all in the same week. And so she wound up moving back to Colorado. I had $200 and just kind of shoved everything in my car and drove out just to be present. We had a timeline. Baby was going to come no matter what. When I moved out to Colorado, I was sleeping in a church parking lot in my car, and I just started kind of knocking on doors or Googling and finding jobs that I thought I could get with some level of experience. So I kind of drove up to this dealership and interviewed, and I'll never forget, this is a gentleman named Anthony Pernice who kind of just hired me on the spot and gave me an opportunity. It wound up being this amazing blessing. I hadn't experienced sales until that point, and that's where I really started to kind of cut my teeth in sales, learn all the ins and outs of how to direct clients, how to ask questions, how to convert people. You know, I spent a year or so there as a traditional floor salesman, moved up to internet sales manager, and it started to become clear to me in terms of lead generation, lead conversion. How do you take 100 leads from 6 different lead sources and convert them at the highest possible level? This is the mechanism for marketing and generating leads and actually making money for your business that most people are missing. I think it was a really core foundational setting for me to where I can build these skills that are going to translate into any industry. I met my wife living in the basement of, a pastor's house who took me in 6 months after I moved into Colorado. And man, I'm just blown away what a blessing she was, and is. I didn't deserve her, I didn't earn her in any way, and yet she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I kind of found a job where it married my engineering and my sales skill together at a company called C0. Now we're finally on our feet. I'm married. We have this financial stability. We're starting to learn about money and learn about, just financial literacy in general. And that kind of set the timeline and the foundation to be able to start saving and start looking at, okay, well, what's next? Real estate, number one, it just kind of felt like home. This is what I grew up with, but it was an opportunity for us to get into something that was really a pretty low risk industry. It's not new. We're not reinventing the wheel. Real estate's been around for forever. And the government incentivizes this industry so much. They encourage homeownership. So there's so many routes to take advantage of it long-term to build wealth. I joined this small firm of just investors. They kind of showed me the ropes and how to analyze deals and how to kind of play the cash flow game and how to go about the construction in the right way at that time. We picked up our first property, and 2 weeks in, my contractor's kind of not done anything yet. And so I stop by and I start kind of escalating things. Well, what's going on? Don't you have the crews allocated for this? Well, yeah, we're busy, but we're getting on it, and you're on timeline and everything's fine. Another month goes by and I check up on the home, and another month goes by. We're 3 months into this project and it's just been demoed. And I know there's a lot more that still goes on in this process, and we've got a lot more time left, and he's still telling me everything's fine. And at that point, we just had to put together this massive demand letter and lawsuit to get this contractor to move forward. So, we had to sue our contractor on our very first project. And oh, by the way, that was my employer. He was the one that co-founded this brokerage that had hired me and started to advise me on taking on these projects. And so that was scary. This is my employer who's in charge of this project that I have to sue my contractor, but it's also somebody that's responsible for my daily income. That was a really unique situation. And luckily enough, that worked. We were able to get that project done later than we would have liked to, but still net $40,000 on that project. That was my introduction into flipping. We scaled very quickly. And, in that first year, we made like 400 grand. And, me and my wife kind of just looked at each other like, well, I don't think it makes much sense to stay at this W-2 job anymore. I was laying in bed one night and I was just praying with my wife and just praying for clarity and to get a sign. It's like, hey, is this right to do this? The very next morning, I woke up to 4 properties under contract that we were going to be able to wholesale. That was a very clear sign. I was like, all right, it's time to do it. Now we finally had the opportunity to start our own business, and it made sense. And at 27, that was a lifelong dream come true. I remember sitting and just enjoying that moment. And it's really cool to just have your family around and be able to brainstorm about logos and silly names for things, but we had really big visions for this business, and I didn't quite know what it was going to become. Better Blueprint Realty is a luxury-based and investment-based real estate firm. We own 4 businesses, and one is a wholesale business, which finds off-market, beat-up, distressed properties that need to be fixed. We own a brokerage with a lot of kind of investment-minded and luxury-minded brokers underneath us, and we own all of our own investment projects, from flips to Airbnbs to multifamily. Lastly, we kind of have this mentorship program, which is really designed to teach people to do exactly what I'm doing. And it started in Colorado as this custom one-on-one mentorship program based on your skills and your goals and your resources, and to teach you how to increase the velocity of your money long term. Soon, we found a lot of people that were really interested and passionate about this. And we had one couple in particular, Sarah and Ryan. I met them at a creative finance meetup. They dove in and within 4 weeks picked up their first property with us. It sold for 25 grand over asking price. That was our first mentee. Like, that was the type of impact we were looking to make, and they just continued to take on projects from there. We've had people come through this mentorship program that saw the value, that learned, that could see their path to financial freedom, and they're like, man, I have to be a part of this full time. And so it's just been this really organic way of finding awesome partners and excellent talent, and having them know your brand and your culture and your expectations and your process. And it's just been an awesome way to grow the business. We've got 2 really big initiatives right now. Number one, we're taking this kind of local custom mentorship that we've built over the years that's been really successful, and we are launching that on a national scale. This is really geared to be an on-demand version of exactly what we've taught all of our students over these years, and it's supposed to reach everybody, in the US. And so this is something that people can have a very early entry into, and they can find their first flip, all the way to, hey, now you've built the ability to do 6-figure projects. How do we scale that business? We want everybody to have the opportunity to sit on the beach and make 100 grand in 4 months and take the rest of the time off. Or if they want to have the ability to go out and scale to a 7-figure organization, let's give you the tools and the support to do that. Our other initiative right now is just leveling up our own business. We've kind of built some strategic partnerships with our general contractors and some national home builders to go out and build a 40-lot new construction subdivision. And so this is, for us, kind of that natural phase of leveling up. We don't ever want somebody to just stay at flipping. There's opportunities now to move up to multifamily or to large-scale new construction, and that's where we're going now. To get started in real estate, flipping homes in particular, I think it's really important to understand deal analysis and understand where your risk lies. Like, you need to have very clear go, no-go criteria that says that this is a deal or it's not. And you need to be focusing on 6-figure profits. Like, there's so many people that get into flipping and get out after 6 months because they're trying to make $20,000 or $30,000 a deal. And there's just too much risk or too much headache to be doing something like that. Because if you go longer on your timeline, or if the market shifts, or if you go over on your construction budget, like, those are all things that can eat at margin fairly quickly. And so we always focus on at least 80% ROI. We want to make sure that we have our worst case scenario covered. What happens if you go over on your construction budget? What happens if you take longer than you anticipated? What happens if the market is dropping? Deal analysis, understanding your actual profits, your margins, your expenses, that's where your money is going to be made. You need to make sure that you have a builder's agreement in place. We learned this on our first project when we had to sue our contractor. You need to have a contract in place with very specific terms so the project actually gets done on time. If you have something that incentivizes somebody with a bonus for being early and penalizes them with a daily rate as they're late on a project, that's going to be extremely powerful. 1 to 3 weeks late on a project is manageable. 3 months late on a project is not. That puts you in a whole new risk category. You might be selling in the winter, your carrying costs are high, so make sure that this project is staying on time. you're going to be met on this entrepreneurial journey with all sorts of resistance from people in your lives. And so you got to be okay going down this path alone a little bit, right? And not in a negative way, but just to eliminate the naysayers. Your wife in particular is your biggest teammate. She's your biggest companion. You got to earn that confidence. You got to earn that respect, and you've got to make small wins along the way. But I think, balancing that family life with entrepreneurial life is all about building trust long term and finding ways to be in the moment when you're not at work. And you're going to be sacrificing a lot, but enjoy your family when you're with them. Like, give them your heart, give them your attention, let them know how special they are, and let them know how much it means that they support the work and the effort and the energy that you're putting into this, and how much they trust you because you're doing it for them. We just had a baby girl. She's 9 months old now. Her name's Harper. And my wife decided that she wanted to put her career on pause and stay home with our baby girl and raise our girl. And that's admirable. I'm in my office one morning and I get a text from my wife. The text just has a photo of her with my baby girl in her arms on her lap. And it just says, "Thank you. Because of all the hard work that you're doing, we get to have morning cuddles like this." As a husband, as a father, like that's what it's about. I think the world is just becoming more entrepreneurial every day, like with the internet and with social media and with AI. Like, there's so many opportunities for you to take your passion or your goals and make it your own, and like make it your own journey. And I just want people to realize that there's so many different paths out there outside of just having a traditional job that can give you the freedom in your own lives and the stability. Like, if you have this skill set that can outlast anything, then you have the freedom to be able to do whatever you want to do.